Hello, my friends. Diana Rankin here, along with little Piper, who just moved behind me here. She was right here at my feet. She's staying very close today. Um, I know many of you were wondering, would we even be able to get on today? And I will explain why in a moment. But I want to first of all say we're going to talk today. It's going to be a little bit different. Instead of reading from Phillip in answering one of your questions, I want to give you 14 ways to change fear-based emotions to love-based emotions. And I want to tell you, I'm using a lot of those today. And I will address that in a moment, but I want to first of all say welcome. We appreciate your being here, whether live or you listen to us later. I want to also say we will get a message from one of my books, The Master's Book of Answers by Phillip, and each page is a different oracle or a different, it's an oracle book. I'm a little shook up today, and I will explain in a moment. And hello, Juliet. She says, good afternoon. Glad to catch you live. Wonderful to see you, Juliet. And to all of those who checked on me last night or have been checking on me today, thank you. I deeply appreciate that. And I will address all of that in a moment, but I want to first of all say, for those of you, if you notice, that yes, my face is a little swollen because I had dental surgery yesterday, but I'm fine. No problems. It's just still a little swollen. Last night, I started getting phone calls. Was I safe? And again, I'm going to get to these 14 ways in a moment, but I want to first of all just explain and ask all of you for your prayers and your healing energy to be sent to the southeastern and southeastern part of Indiana and the southwestern part of Ohio, especially Indian Lake, Russell's Point, and Lakewood. Devastation. We had tornadoes go through just a couple of weeks ago, and about 30 minutes southeast of me destroyed homes. Last night was a different story. Lives were taken. And these were these storms lasted for hours. They didn't just go through. Yes, we have no damage and we are fine. No damage at all. And want to take a moment. Sunshine says hello. Rush says hi, Diana, and hearts and flowers and prayers. Akila says hello, everyone, and gives us a wave. So good to see all of you. Thank you. But the Indian Lake, not far from me, did horrific damage. And I could see the storms when I stood on my front porch, and I had my niece called me, and then other friends called me, and then I went inside and turned on the news, and a friend called at the same time, and she said the tornadoes in less than an hour are coming right over. We're in the, according to radar, we're in the path. So Piper and I got ready to go into our safe place, which is an indoor inside bathroom in the bathtub. And we put her pillow, this particular bed is the smallest bed for her. So we put her bed here. We put her blankie with her. And of course we had our phone and anything we'd need. And we listened to the news while we stayed in cuddled together, and the news started mentioning the places where we live. I always felt safe, and my neighbors were safe. I don't know if it's possible to be in the eye of the storm, but we got rain, but the earth would shake, but we didn't have this hours of lightning that seemed to not move. It was an eerie quiet. But what I want to tell you this is just because I'm a little still shook up today. And normally this type of thing doesn't really shake me up. that much. And a friend and I were talking, and I said, I think number one, it's so close to the 2 weeks since we had the last one. It also lasted for hours and hours. It went from like 7 o'clock until midnight, where we went from a tornado watch to a tornado warning, and then announcing the places where I live take shelter right now. And then to hear that Indian Lake area where we spend so much time had such devastation. So those of us in this area, if you're feeling trauma today, and you, even though you experienced no damage, you're not alone. Many people have called me today and said they're feeling it today, and they didn't really understand why this time was different. And I think there are a lot of reasons. And one is the length of time, as well as we know so many people in the region who were harmed. And it was such a long, like I say, western or southeastern Indiana, all the way, the storms just kept coming. And it was just this huge line of storms that didn't stop all the way into western, southwestern Ohio. So send some healing energy into this area. I thank you. Now, let me get to those 14 ways to change fear to love. And I am going to rely upon my notes. I'm glad I took them. These are all things I know very well, but I just, intuition said take notes, because that way I won't forget anything. We will get back to answering your questions next week. No, we have one more week, and then we'll do the predictions for the April. Okay, when I'm talking about fear-based emotions, we're talking about depression, anger, anxiety, frustration, anything that is not love-based. So love-based emotions, calm, empathy, compassion. These are all love-based emotions. Happiness, joy, love-based emotions. And that's not to say with these processes and these methods that you will always live in love-based emotions. No, we experience the fear-based emotions so we can trade them for love-based emotions. And that's how, one of the ways we grow. Not only do we grow our life, but we help to grow the world. You might have noticed why I say I'm going to give you 14, not 15, 14, and I'll explain why when we get to the end. These methods will not help you if you are clinically depressed. Please, if you're clinically depressed, please reach out, get help. Don't go through this alone. It is way too hard. And these are methods that before you get to the point of that deep depression where you can't change the mood. That's what these methods are for. If you're in the US and you're suicidal, please call 988. And those of you in other countries, if you would, please go ahead and put down, if you have numbers for those who are thinking of taking their life, to call. Please put those in the comments. Thank you. If you know someone who is clinically depressed or thinking of taking their life, reach out to them. Please give them this number. And I want to tell you, I'm not a therapist. I think you know that. I'm a psychic intuitive. I'm a spiritual leader, a public speaker, a seminar leader. I've lived a good life, and I'm very blessed. And I've gone through a lot, but I've gotten to the other side, and I want to share that and help everybody live a good life. And I'm a writer, and one of the books I have, in addition to this one that many of you are familiar with, one of my other books is Joy, the Art of Living a Happy Life, 52 processes or methods, of some of which I'll talk about today, but some of what I'm talking about today is not in the book. But this book is available if it will help you. Joy, the Art of Living a Happy Life. Okay. let's get going. Number one. Well, first of all, I want to give you 3 reasons, 3 things you need to know to make these methods work. 3 things. The first one is make it simple. Every emotion is either fear-based or love-based. Make it simple. Fear, anger, jealousy, frustration, impatience, anxious, depression, etc. Those are all fear-based. Recognize that. Love-based or calm, happy, joy, caring, empathy, compassion, laughter, etc. Recognize, be aware. Number 2, be aware of what you are feeling and acknowledge the emotion as coming either from fear or love. If you're unaware of what you're feeling, you can't change it. Number 3, you have to want to be happy. If you're satisfied in your frustration or disapproval or whatever fear-based emotion and you don't want to be happy, well, guess what? You can't be happy. But once you know what you're feeling and decide it's worth the work to be happy, you can then make the decision to change whatever the fear-based emotion is to a love-based emotion. And again, these methods are not for those of you who are clinically depressed. Please, please seek help. So here goes. This one we touched on last week, 2 items. And I want you to see I have a red item and a green item. Now, each item is going to represent either the red, I'm going to use the red and say the red represents to me fear-based, and the green represents love-based. And I can carry this in my pocket. I can keep it handy, attach it to my purse or whatever. I can turn it into a bracelet if I want. But I have a physical symbol, a physical something I can touch, and it can be anything, beads or stones or whatever. And so when I feel that fear-based emotion, or when I catch myself in it, I can look at that. I can look at that red bead and I can say, make a choice. You know what? I don't like this. This isn't doing me any good. I don't like what I'm feeling. And I can simply say, I'm going to change it to the green emotion. Easier said than done, I recognize, but that is one very simple way of changing the emotion from fear to love. And I can ask myself those questions. Does being in this fear-based emotion, does that make me feel good? Well, of course not. Does it help me to be angry? Let's say I'm having an argument with if you have a spouse or a friend, you're having an argument with that person. Take a look at this color. Is that person hearing me because I'm screaming at them or they're screaming at me? Of course not. What's in it for me if I'm angry? Let's change it, okay? And when you look at that green bead or the love symbol, you'll start smiling, and that's going to help too. This is also, a good time when you look at these emotions, you can go deeper and you can say, what's underneath? Where is this really coming from? You may not want to do that immediately, but you can do that. Years ago, for number 2, years ago, a friend gave me this, and I put my hand here. And she said, when you walk up the mountain, and the mountain is not easy to climb, but guess what? When you're at the top, if you flip that emotion over, you're still at the top. So she said, simply see yourself climbing the mountain and then flip it over and you remind yourself you're at the top. This is the love up here. That will help too. So every time we climb a mountain, it gets easier. Why? Well, imagine a cone, a circular cone type. This is life. And every time we go through a process, every time we look at the pattern in our life that isn't working, we're able to move higher up. And the pattern, we recognize it quicker, we move through it quicker, and it's almost like, why does it come back? Well, because until it's fully healed, it's going to come back. And I always say, if you look in the mirror and no one looks back, you're done. So keep looking in the mirror. That's number 3, is just recognize life is circular and it's going to get easier. Number 4, and I give this to a lot of my clients, and this is a difficult one if you're not feeling worthy. And if you're like that argument with the friend or a spouse, if you're having that argument, you're probably not feeling heard. And if you're not feeling heard, what's beneath that? You're not feeling worthy. So, what I want you to do is at least once a day and hopefully twice a day, look in the mirror and look at that person looking back at you. Look at that person and tell her or him or them, say, I love you. I love you. You are beautiful. You have a wonderful heart. You are deserving. You are worthy. And use those words until you really start believing them. Number 5, and I give this one a lot to my clients too, and I've used this a lot in workshops. This is go outside and find a sturdy tree, one with deep roots. And those deep rooted trees like a hickory or not a maple, their trees aren't deep enough, and not a pine because you can't get up to it. And when you find that tree, ask its permission. May I share your energy? If the tree says no, don't get upset because the tree just isn't healthy at the moment. So move into the tree, give it a hug if you want, and then put your spine right up into that tree. And as you put your spine into the tree, you'll notice that one side of your body may look a little grayish or darker than the other side of the body. And as you notice that tree, that energy is helping you balance. When we move into fear-based emotions, we move out of balance. And so let that tree help you get back into balance. And then see your feet really going down into the roots with the tree so you're grounded. And then lift your arms up high and let them soar with those branches. And thank the tree for sharing your energy. Nature, I'm telling you, nature will help you so much. Go dig in dirt if that helps. Number 6, and especially this will be helpful when you're in nature. This is self-talk. Really start listening to your self-talk and change it to better self-talk. Ask those hard questions if you want while you're taking a walk in nature. Ask yourself, why am I angry? Why am I fearful? Why am I worried? Why am I waking up in the middle of the night worried about, is there enough money to pay the bills? Because worrying isn't going to change it. One of my videos about a worry jar, look that one up and use that. Get yourself a worry jar, make it a worry jar and create that. What you want to do is let Mother Earth or Father Sky, ask them, can you help me heal this emotion? Can you take it from me so I can feel your beauty and see your beauty? They will help you. Ask them. They'll help you. Mother Earth or Father Sky. That's what they're there for. Well, one of the reasons. And we might have to have a little talk here about Mother Nature and ask her why she's so angry these days. But I think we already know that. Okay, number 7. There we go. Number 7. Give the emotion a name and talk to it. When I was a girl, I was not allowed to be angry. I wasn't allowed to express anger. So I had to stuff it. As I grew into an adulthood, I would find anger, it would take a lot, but then it would just explode. And it's like, why am I angry at this person? What's going on here? So I had to learn how to be angry appropriately. So I gave my anger a name. I called him Hank. And I said, Hank, as long as you promise not to body slam anybody, I promise to recognize you. So recognize whatever that emotion is, give it a name and have a conversation with it. Number 8, meditate if you can. If you can't, just stare at something. Candles are great to just watch them dance and watch them move about. You can kind of see the candle over here behind me over my shoulder. It's dancing. You can't see the flame, but you can see the movement inside. And just as you stare at something, you do go into a meditative space. You go into a calm space. And that will help you calm. That will help you change the emotion. Number 9, smile. You're feeling upset, just simply smile. Ouch, that hurts, sorry, mouth. As you smile really big, it will change these muscle tissue, or these muscles in the mouth will change the feeling and bring forth the heart. And then that smile, you know what? That's could turn into laughter. But just that act of moving the muscle tissues to a smile will be helpful. And so, number 10 is laugh. Just start laughing. Watch a TV show that's a comedy instead of all these horrific dramas where people keep killing each other. Watch the happy stuff. If you want to watch one of my videos, it's called Let's Laugh. And it's Daisy Dog, who was my girl before Piper. Daisy Dog and I just laughing. And believe me, when you start laughing, or even when you start smiling, but when you start laughing at yourself, even though you don't mean it at the beginning, you will start meaning it because you will start laughing at yourself. Number 11, journal. I'm a writer, so I am big on journaling. I'm on 196 or 197, I think, journals through my life. But as you're journaling, you can ask those questions and let the answers come. What is beneath this feeling? Why am I gaining anything from the anger? Am I gaining anything from the jealousy? Is it hurting me? What is beneath the feeling? Journal it out. Write the answers. And if you tell me you don't know the answer, I say to you, don't think about it, because you do know. Write the answer. Write what you would write if you did know. You can also draw if you prefer. And as you're drawing, really start feeling what is going on in the drawing and ask yourself, what is beneath the question? Number 12, write down an affirmation and carry it with you. Paste it everywhere in your house. The affirmation may be, I am deserving of happiness. I am allowed to be joyful. Whatever emotion you want to remind yourself, it's okay to have. Put those little Post-it notes all over the place and make sure you read them. Number 13. This is one of my favorites, and I started it many years ago. And this one works great for me when a driver's cutting me off, or when somebody is saying something I don't really like. And instead of using finger language at that driver, who, me, would I do that? Well, I've been known to, yeah. But instead of using finger language, you simply say, bless you, bless me. And you may be saying that through gritted teeth. That can work in an office also when you're in a meeting and people are saying things that you want to go, and so you can simply, through gritted teeth, bless you, bless me. It changes the energy. And changing that energy, you'll find yourself, those gritted teeth relax, and you'll find yourself smiling. And with that driver, you'll probably say, like I do, I'm so glad you're in front of me instead of behind me or beside me, or going that way instead of this way. Number 14, 3 breaths. This is a little bit different than just taking a deep breath or meditative breath. So what I want you to do is get your spine straight for this one. And normally when we breathe, we kind of think, oh, our stomach or our chest goes out. So the first breath is going to be more like what we would normally think of. But I want you also to feel and imagine and see in your imaginal mind, if possible, breathe as you take in that deep breath, see the chest go out, but also see that your back expand. So the chest is going out and the back is also expanding. So you're actually expanding the muscles of the body. So take that deep breath and see that expansion. The second breath is to take that deep breath and see that breath going up into the brain. See it going into the brain as well as down into the feet. So you're going to stay grounded in the feet, but you're also processing more in the brain because you're giving it fresh breath. The third breath is you're going to breathe and see the body moving out to the side. See it moving, literally feel the body moving out to the side. And then, of course, on the exhale, you're going to feel the body coming back into its place. So those are 3 breaths, and you do them simultaneously. Breath 1, 2, 3. That will change the energy that you're feeling and help you. Now, some of these processes are easier than others. Changing fear-based emotions, remember, we have to first recognize that what emotion we're having. It doesn't necessarily mean this is easy, but remember the cone. It does get easier the more we choose love over fear. This doesn't mean we'll never have fear or anger again. It simply means we don't have to live there. We can just visit and choose to leave. Now, why did I choose 14 methods? Well, simply in numerology, 14 is 1 plus 5. Or excuse me, 1 plus 4 equals 5. 5 is the number of freedom. So live your life, my friends. Keep returning to love and gratitude for every love emotion you move into. Akila, she said, oh no, didn't know it was so bad. Yeah, thank you for your prayers for everybody in the area. Salina in Ohio, Indian Lake area in Ohio, and the areas of southwestern Indiana. Forgive me, the name at the moment, it's just not there, but thank you. And Aileen says, love your philosophy. Thank you. And Aileen says, how do you know when a tree says no? You'll feel it. You'll kind of start approaching it and say, may I share your energy? And you'll just kind of feel, oh, that's the wrong tree. I chose the wrong tree. And just go choose another one. And if you aren't sure, choose another one. There are plenty that you'll feel safe with. It's kind of like when you're walking down a dark alley and something doesn't feel right, or you're walking down the street or the road and something doesn't quite feel right. It's, you'll know. So, and it may take a little practice, but Aileen, you'll know. All right, my friends, thank you for your love and prayers. Thank you for your healing energy being sent this way. We are so grateful. And I want to say, if you're in the area, my understanding is go through the Red Cross, go through United Way, go through the organizations, because just showing up at the areas, that doesn't help. If you want to volunteer or you want to, and my understanding is there has been so much outreach that the school in Indian Lake is filled. So right now, make sure you check with like Red Cross or United Way or one of the organizations to see how you can help if you choose to. But please don't go to the area. Right now, the area needs to clean up. And there are live wires still down, and we don't need anybody there that doesn't need to be there. So thank you. Aileen said, thank you, Diana. Thank you. I love you all. I know this went a little bit longer than usual, and I apologize for that, but I am so grateful for your support. Thank you. From all of us here, oh, wait a minute. No, it's now you still can't see her. She's right behind me here. Sorry about the squeaky chair. Oh, I almost forgot, didn't I? You can tell I'm a little off today, aren't I? So let's get our message for the week. There you go. I'm hearing they're both important, but I think right's slightly stronger than left. So if you heard right, that's for all of us. If you heard left, pay attention. But again, they both feel pretty strong to me today. So Wright says Beethoven was without hearing, and yet he heard music. Beethoven was without hearing, and yet he heard music. That's page 241. What does that have to do with our message today? The message was, you have within you. If you got my newsletter today, you read it. You have within you the spark of a Gandhi. You have the cells of all the happiness in the world. Choose it. You don't have to question. Can you do it? If a man without hearing can write music the way Beethoven did, believe me, you can change fear to love. If you heard left 240, it says even free rent cost. And what that's saying is you got to do the work. It may seem to happen magically, but believe me, you got to do the work. And I had to use some of these processes today, or if you want more, look up my book. I love you, my friends. Thank you. Thank you for the love that you send to us and the love you're sending to this area of the country today. Thank you for the love that you're receiving. And thank you for adding love to our world. I love you, my friends. See you next week, if not before. Bye for now.